Good morning, students. So, the last class we started the next topic in the private, public, and global enterprises, and finished some of the important forms of organizing public sector enterprises, that is, the department undertaking, statutory corporations, and government company. Okay, so in each form we discuss about the merits and limitations of each form of business organization and some of the important features also. So today's class we are going to study about the changing role of public sector. Okay, how the public sector, why there is changes takes place in public sector, what is the reason of changing their performance in public sector, what is the limitations, and what are the demerits and what are the problems faced in the public sector. We are going to discuss about that and how they implement the changes in which sectors and which factors or departments they took the changes in the activities in the public sector also. We are going to discuss in today's class. So first we are going to see the introduction part of the changing role of public sector. So at the time of independence, the public sector is playing a very important role in achieving certain the actual objectives of the economy by having the direct participation in the business and also acting a major role by improving the economic condition of our country. And they also build up the infrastructure for other sectors of the economy, and they are playing as a very important role, that is making improvement in development in the investment area also. So and the private sector was unwilling to invest in the projects which requires the heavy investment. So the government then took it upon itself to develop the infrastructural facilities and provide some of the goods and services which is essential for the development of the economy. So the Indian economy is in the stage of transition, that is the first year plans in the initial stage of development gave the lot of importance to the public sector. So 5-year plan, the initial stage is of development which gave more importance to the public sector, and in the post 1990s the new economic policies created. 1990 new economic policy which is created, which is emphasized mainly concentrated on the liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So the role of public sector was redefined and was supposed to play a passive role, but actually actively participate, and how to actively participate in the market and how to improve the market conditions and with the other private sector companies in the same industry. Okay, so they were also held accountable means responsible for the losses and return on the investment. So if the public sector making the losses continuously, it was referred to the board for industrial and financial reconstruction, that is BIF, it is called as the board for industrial and financial reconstruction. For what is the that is regarding if there is losses is continually, that is if there is losses is continuing in the business premises, that business premises will be sent to the consideration of that BIF for the complete shutdown. Okay, so the various committees were also set up to study the working study which is carried out by some of the institutions or committees, how to that is what is the reason for the inefficient public sector and units, and with reports on how to improve their, so in order to identify the problem and also how to improve their efficiency level and profitability level. Okay, so so there is a changes in the role of the public sector enterprises. Okay, so the first one is the first factor is the development of infrastructure. So they took the importance to the how to develop the activities of infrastructure. Okay, so the development of infrastructure is prerequisite for industrialization in any country. So It is in order to that is in order to improve because industrialization means that is opening of new industries by the industrial persons by investing large amount and also by providing employment opportunities to the qualified persons. So at last the result will be the economic growth of the country will be automatically increased. Okay, this is the factor. So in the pre-independent periods, basic infrastructure was not developed, and therefore the industrialism progressed at a very slow pace. So in the stage of pre-independent, the infrastructure facilities is not developed, so the industrialism is not actually developed in that period, and the process of industrialization cannot be sustained means this keep on growing without adequate transportation and communication facilities, fuel and energy. These are all the some of the basic infrastructural facilities. So the private sector did not show any initiative to. So the public sector is facing the problem in the development of infrastructure, and the private sector is not coming forward to invest heavy amount in those industries to develop in the infrastructural process. So they did not have any trained personal means employees, or they are not having the sufficient finance to establish many industries with the which was the main requirement of the economy. So okay, so it was only the government which could mobilize huge capital, coordinate industrial construction, and train technicians, workforce, railroad, sea and air transport for the responsibility of the government. So these facilities should be developed by the government, and these are all the main responsibilities of the government to improve the economical growth, So and their expansion has contributed to the next level, that is so that is their and their expansion, that is the government, and their expansion has contributed to the pace of industrialization and also the economic growth. Okay, so the public sector enterprises were to operate in the certain spheres. Investment were to be made to. So in order to improve the infrastructure, some of the investments have to be improved and in certain areas, that is giving infrastructure to the some other sectors where they require huge capital investment, have to upgrade the technology and effective organization structures and power generation plants and other. These are all the other important infrastructures. So investments were expansions and development has contributed by the government, and also some of the investments will also be contributed by the government in order to improve the infrastructural facilities. Okay, and next one is give a lead in investment to the core sector where the private sector enterprises are not functioning. So in areas where the private sector enterprises is not functioning, giving concentration to develop the infrastructure in those areas. Okay, so infrastructure means functioning in the desired directions, like that is providing fertilizers, petrochemicals and heavy engineering, spare parts, etc. Okay, next one is giving direction to the future investments. So they are also giving attention to improve the future investments also, that is like hotels, project management, consultancies, textiles and automobiles. Okay, this is the first factor, that is the development of infrastructure. Next one is the regional balance. What is the regional balance? So the government is responsible for developing all the regions and state in the balanced way, and also removing the regional disparities. Disparities means regional imbalances. So the government is responsible to develop all the regions in a balanced way. So most of the industrial progress was limited to the few areas. Okay, so industrial progress means the industrial growth is limited only to the few areas, and in the period of pre-independence and after 1971, the government laid on its first 5-year plan that particular attention would be paid to those regions which were lagging behind, and public sector industries were deliberately set up 4 major steel plants were set up in the backward areas to accelerate the economic development. So after 1951, the 5-year plan, the government took many of the steps to improve the development of the public sectors by public sector industries, that is in areas in the backward areas in order to improve their economic development, and four major steel plants are also implemented by the government, and that is the main aim is to providing employment opportunities to the workforce and also to develop the ancillary industries. Okay, so this objective is achieved to the some extent, but there is a scope for a lot more, but still it is not developed. So development of backward regions so to ensure regional balance in the country is one of the major objective of plan development. So what is the main objective? Main objective is the regional balance in the country. So that should be in the backward regions also there should be a proper development and improvement in all type of facilities, and these facilities should be provided by the government in a balanced manner, that is a regional balance. This is the main objective of this is the objective of plan development. Therefore the government had to locate new enterprises. So the government should take some of the steps to locate some of the new industries in the backward areas, and at the same time prevent the mushrooming growth of private sector units in already advanced areas, and they should they have to take some they should take some steps to prevent the growth of the private sectors units in already advanced areas. Okay, so they have to prevent to stop to continue the work in the work of private sectors, and the steps to be taken by the government to implement the development activities in the backward areas as a public sector enterprises. Okay, so next one is economies of scale. So where the large scale industries are required to be set up with a huge capital outlay, the public sector had to step in and take some advantage of economics of scale. Okay, so that is if the large industries are if the large industries are planned to implemented, so that definitely there will be a huge definitely there is a requirement of the huge capital, and the public sector had to they have to take some of the steps in the economics means a financial. Okay, so the economic electric power plant, natural gas, petroleum and telephone industries are some of the examples of the public sector under settings of large scale units. So these are the large scale units which is coming under the public sector enterprises. So these units require a large amount of capital to function economically, which was the most possible with the government resources and mass scale production. Okay, so all the resources are provided by the government, and these units are require a large basis to function economically, and in order to improve their production activity. Okay, so next one is check over concentration of economic power. Okay, so the public sector acts as a check over the private sector. Okay, so in the private sector there are very few industrial houses which should be willing to invest in heavy industries, with the result that that wealth gets concentrated in few hands and monopolistic practices are encouraged. Monopolistic means one man power. Okay, so this gives rise to inequality income, which is detrimental to the society. So the public sector should act as a check over the private sector, and because the private sector are giving more concentration only on a limited industrial houses, because they are willing to invest in a huge heavy industries, and they concentrate only in a few hands, and they are encouraging the monopolistic practices. Monopolistic means one man power. So there is a inequalities in income. Okay, so the public sector is able to settle large industries which requires a heavy investment, and thus the income and the benefits that accrue are shared by the large number of employees and the workers. So what is the main purpose of establishing the public sector enterprises? The main aim of establishing public sector enterprises is to that is in order to implement the large industries by investing large amount of capital, which also providing large employment opportunities to large number of employees and the workers, and also to prevent the concentration of wealth and economic power in the private sector. So these are the main important objectives of implementing the public sector enterprises. Okay, so next one is import substitution. Import substitution. Okay, So during the second and the third 5-year period, the India was aiming to be self-reliant in many spheres. So they started to develop and obtaining foreign exchange was also a problem, and it's difficult to import heavy machineries required for the strong industrial base. So they are facing some of the problems during the second and third 5-year plan, and the problems is the obtaining the foreign exchange from other countries, and also it is face the problem of importing the heavy machineries which is required by the other strong industrial industries. And at the same time, public sector companies involved in heavy in engineering which would help in import substitution were established. Okay, so simultaneously several public sector companies like STC and MMTC have played an important role in expanding the exports of the country. So but public sector companies like STC and MMTC, so we have to see what is that is STC and MMTC are also playing a very important role in expanding the export of the country. Okay, so the next one is the government. So in the import substitution, the public sector enterprises face some of the problem of foreign exchange, and also we face some of the problem in importing the heavy machineries which is required for a strong industrial base. And at the same time, public sector companies involve the heavy engineering which would help and import substitution were established. Okay, and is also involved in the heavy engineering work which is will help in import substitution. Okay, so simultaneously there is several public sector companies like STC and MMTC have played a very important role. So STC and MMTC played a very important role in expanding the exports of the country. Okay, the next one is government policy towards the public sector since 1991. Government policy under the public sector towards the public sector since 1991. So the government of India has introduced 4 major reforms in the public sector. It is a new industrial policy in 1991. Government had introduced 4 important reforms. So the main elements of the government policy, first one is restructure and revive potentially viable PSC, that is public sector units, close down the P which cannot be revived, and bring down the government equity in all non-strategic public sector units to 26% or lower if necessary, and fully protect the interest of the workers. Okay, these are all the important elements of the government policy. First one is restructure and revive potentially public sector units, close down the public sector units which cannot be revived, and bring down government equity in all non-strategic public sector units to 26% or lower if necessary, and fully protect the interest of the workers. Okay, so the first one is reduction in the number of industries reserved for the public sector from 17 to 8 and then to 3. Reduction in the number of industries which is reserved for public sector. So in 1956 resolution and industrial policy, what is that? 1956, there is a resolution which is taken on the industrial policy. 1991 resolution have taken, that is, what is the resolution? 17 industries were reserved for the public sector. So in 1991 only 8 industries were reserved for the public sector. So they were restricted to, some of the industries are restricted. What are the industries? Atomic energy, arms and communication, mining and railways. These are all the restricted. So were reserved for, they were restricted to these industries are not functioned. Okay, so in 2001 only 3 industries were reserved exclusively for the public sector. Reserved exclusively for the public sector. What is that? The industries are atomic energy, arms and rail transport. This means that the private sector could enter all the areas except the 3. So this means that private sector could not enter into the three type of industries, that is the atomic energy, arms and rail transport. Okay, and the public sector have to compete with them. Okay, so the private sector can enter into all areas except the three type of industries. So the public sector had played a very important role in the development of the economy. So the private sector is also quite capable of contributing to the national building progress. So public sector is also playing very important role in the development of the building, that is contracting the road, bridges, etc. So both the public and private sector need to be mutually complementary part of the national sector. So both private and public sector is playing a very important role, and they are mutually complementary parts of the national sector. So the private sector units also have to assume greater public responsibility. So private sector also having a greater public responsibilities. Simultaneously, public sector also needs to focus on achieving more in the highly competitive market. Okay, so it is the main responsibility of the public sector, and they need to focus on that is achieving more in a highly competitive market. Okay, next one is disinvestment of shares of a selected set of public sector enterprises. So disinvestment involves the sale of equity shares to the private sector and the public. Disinvestment means sale of equity shares to the public and the private sector. So the main objective is to raise the resources and encourage the participation of the general public and the owners workers of the enterprises. So what is my disinvestment? Sale of equity shares to the public and private sectors, and main aim is to raise the resources and financial resources, and also to encourage the workers and other owners of the enterprises to participate in the purchasing of the shares. So the government had taken decisions to withdraw from the industrial sector and reduce its equity in all undertakings. Okay, so decided to withdraw from the industrial sector and reduce its equity. So government takes a decision to reduce its equity in all the undertaking. So it was expected that this would lead to improving managerial performance and ensuring financial discipline. So what is the main aim? In order to improve the managerial performance and also to improve the financial discipline. But that's remain a lot to be done in this. So still there is a problem which is faced by the government. Okay. So the next the primary objectives of privatizing public sector enterprises. So what is the main objective of privatization of public sector enterprises? First one is releasing the large amount of public resources locked up in non-strategic public sector enterprises. So first they have to bring out the amount which is locked in the public sector enterprises, so they can maybe utilized on some other priority areas where there is standard of living is very poor, and also to reduce the huge amount of public debt. Public debt is called as a loan, public loan, and interest burden. So they are not capable of repaying the loan with a high rate of interest. No, in that area the amount can be utilized. Okay, and to reduce the amount of the interest also, and transferring the commercial risk to the private sector. So the funds are invested in the able project, and freeing the enterprises from the government control and introduction of corporate government. That is, what are the enterprises which is coming under the government control, making certain steps to release from that government control and dominations, and bring into the introduction of corporate government. Okay, and in many areas where the public sector had a monopoly, for example, that is the telecom sector of the telecom, the consumers have benefited by more choices, lower prices, and better quality of products and services. Okay, so that is where there is a monopoly. That is where the public sector had a monopoly means one man control. It is called as a monopoly. That is a telecom sector. The customer have benefited by more choices, lower prices and better quality of products and services. Okay, so next one is policy regarding the sick units to be the same as that of for the private sector. So policies which is implemented regarding the sick units to be same, okay, to be same as that of the public sector. So all the public sector units were referred to the board of the BIFR, the Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. All the public sector units are referred to the Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction to decide where there is a sixth unit and where there should be a development should be carried on, and what are the sick units which cannot attain a proper profit, and take some steps to close down that sick units. These decisions are taken only by the BIF, for that is the Board of Industrial Financial Reconstruction. So the board had reconsidered revival and rehabilitation schemes. So some of the schemes are introduced by this board for some of the cases, for winding up for a number of units. So there is a lot of resentment amongst the worker of the units which are to be closed down. Okay, so the National Renewal Fund. So if the sick units, in order to stop the working conditions, so the workers are to be resent to the resent. So that should be automatically there is a loss of that is the workers are facing some of the main problems of not receiving the salary. No, so in this problem, the National Renewal Fund was to be set up by the government to retrain or that is to provide compensation to the public sector employees which is seeking voluntary retirement. So this fund, National Renewal Fund, is playing a very important role, which is set up by the government in order to provide the compensation amount to the public sector employees who are seeking the voluntary retirement. Okay, so there are many enterprises which are sick and not capable of being revived as they have accumulated huge losses. So definitely there will be a losses. So with public finances under intense pressure, both central and state government are just not able to sustain them much longer. So the only option available to the government in such cases to close down. So with the public finances, the central and state government cannot be able to sustain with a long period. So automatically the decision will be taken by the government to shut down or close down the undertakings after providing a safety. After providing a safety rules or procedures for the employees and workers. So the resources under the National Renewal Fund have not been sufficient to meet the cost of voluntary separation scheme or voluntary retirement scheme. So the National Renewal Fund resources are not sufficient in order to meet the cost which is spent on this certain voluntary retirement scheme and also voluntary separation scheme. Okay, so next one is Memorandum of Understanding. What is a Memorandum of Understanding? That is improvement of performance through a Memorandum of Understanding. So there is improvement of performance, okay, which is a system by which the managements ought to be granted greater autonomy, but held accountable for a specified results. Okay, so improvement of performance through the Memorandum of Understanding system by which the managements ought to be granted greater autonomy but held accountable for specified, but they are responsible only for a specified results. So under the system, public sector units were given a clear target and operational autonomy for achieving this targets. Okay, so the public sector is playing a very important role. They are providing clear target and in order to achieve these targets. Okay, and the Memorandum of Understanding was between the particular public sector unit and their administrative ministries, defining the relationship and autonomy. Okay, so these are all the changing role of public sector. Okay, the first one is development of infrastructure, second one is regional balance, economics of sale, check over concentration of economic power and import substitution, government policy. Next one is reduction in the number of industries, disinvestment of shares, policy regarding the sick units, and last one is the memorandum of understanding. Okay, so it is a very important question. And in the next class we are going to study about the global enterprises and their important features and the joint venture, what are the types of joint ventures, and some of the examples of joint ventures, what are the benefits of joint ventures, and what is the PPP, that is public private partnership. Okay, so these are the topics we have to be discussed in the next class. Okay, so be thorough in this topic, and I will send you some of the important questions. Check in the assignment and complete the assignment and submit it as per the time. Okay, thank you students.